Hey there, I want to take a quick minute to tell you about something that we're releasing for the final time. If you have ever sat at your kitchen table or your desk late at night, preparing for a staff meeting, searching for a training on classroom management, parent communication, accountability, confidence, resilience, over the last decade, we built a complete library of teacher training for all of the exact issues that schools face every single day. Classroom management, parent partnership, intentional learning environments, accountability, confidence, resilience, how to run the first staff meetings, all of these foundational skills that most teams are expected to have, but were never taught. These are some of the trainings we use with schools to create shared language, strengthen staff culture, and raise the baseline of skills across the entire building. Today, Schools of Excellence is really focused on helping school owners install leadership infrastructure through standards, ownership, rhythms. And so we no longer create standalone training products like this. But I do know that many schools are still missing this foundational layer. And so instead of letting these assets sit unused, we decided to open the School Culture Vault one final time. So the School Culture Infrastructure Vault is your immediate access to a complete library of assets ready to use professional development that you can use during onboarding, staff development days, team meetings, one-on-ones, anytime you need to address recurring issues. You're not going to be piecing things together, paying outside speakers, or rebuilding your training plan from scratch every single time you have an issue. It is proven, pressure-tested, structured training that you can pull off the shelf whenever your team needs it. Now, we are making this available to only 100 schools. Once 100 schools get access to the vault, it is removed permanently. So if you want the complete training library for less than the cost of creating a single staff meeting, go to schoolsofexcellence.com/vault. Once 100 spots take the vault, it disappears for good. schoolsofexcellence.com/vault. Hello there. Welcome back to the Schools of Excellence podcast. So you made it to summer. Congrats. You're listening to this episode in real time. It's summertime. And so you may have finished school a couple weeks ago. You may be on the tail end of school. Whatever it is, the school year is wrapping up right now. And you kind of have the last children leave, teachers are hugging, maybe you're running a 12-month-a-year program. But either way, even if you run 12 months a year, there's some sort of natural closure at the end of the school year before the summer arrives. Different kids kind of come in and out. Teachers want to take time off. So the summer kind of naturally brings this pause from the hum and hustle and bustle of the school year. You've been working towards this moment for months, okay? And maybe all year, okay? You survived staff shortages, a lot of call-outs, enrollment pressure, parent complaints, payroll, licensing visits, the endless stream of decisions that always landed on your desk somehow. And you go home and you sit down and the house gets quiet and you kind of wait to feel better. You want your shoulders to drop. You want the pressure to lift. And you're waiting for the sense of relief to kind of wash over you. And if you're like most of the high-performing leaders that I work with, it doesn't happen. And you tell yourself, I just need a few more days. I need to go take a vacation. I need to go to the Bahamas. I need to go to my lake house. I need to go to Florida. You book the vacation. You clear the calendar. You promise your family that this summer is going to be different. But underneath all of it, there's still a low-level humming, a subtle tension, a sense that something inside of you is still bracing for impact. You don't have words for it, but if what I'm describing feels familiar, stay with me. This conversation is a conversation that I have in my book, This Can't Be Normal, What to Do When Success Starts to Feel Like Survival, because some of the hardest parts of growth is actually not about achieving the goal. It's becoming the person who can actually live inside of the life that you have built and created. There's a difference between achievement and integration. Achievement is external. Integration is this internal experience, and they do not update at the same speed and at the same time. You can hit the enrollment goal, you can stabilize staffing, You can make it through one of the hardest seasons of your life. And from the outside, you've succeeded. But internally, your nervous system is still running on the same operating system that got you here. The one that was built for vigilance, for survival, for scanning things constantly of what might go wrong next, for the immediate pressure that you're feeling. And so you're still bracing, you're still scanning, you're still leading from a place of defense. And that's why relief doesn't happen, because your milestone could have been real, but growing into the life that you want to live inside of is very different. And no one talks about it. That's why I wrote my book, This Can't Be Normal. And if you haven't purchased your copy yet, it's available wherever books are sold: Amazon, Walmart, Barnes & Noble. Go to thiscan'tbenormal.com. One of the greatest distinctions that I want to offer to you is rest doesn't fix exhaustion. And it also doesn't fix a misaligned identity. If you don't know the difference between real rest and restoration and how to actually build a sustainable restorative life, you spend your entire summer kind of resting and then wondering why your break isn't working for you and why you don't feel more restored and why you feel like, oh my God, how is September creeping up on me? This is insane. I'm not ready. When you build your entire identity on being the one that holds everything together, your entire sense of worth becomes tied to what's needed. So the morning texts, the parent emergencies, the teacher who depends on you, the constant proof that you matter, because so much depends on you. So when summer arrives, you can have some of that external validation still be there, but it feels surprisingly unsettling because the structure that's been telling you that you matter and you're enough and that you're safe has gone quiet. When you mortgage your identity to your school, then every single problem in your school, every problem, every issue, every obstacle becomes a ruthless creditor. And it will bring you to your knees because you're going to have nothing left. It will deplete you until there is literally nothing of you. You will hollow out. That is what happened to me. That is why I wrote my book, This Can't Be Normal, because I was hollowed out, completely extracted and depleted from decades of mortgaging my identity to everything else. And the creditors came knocking and completely drained me dry. And the idea of building a restorative, sustainable life inside of your school, inside of your own home, your personal life, your business, is at the heart of this book. What to do when success starts to feel like survival. Because success can change what you've built long before it changes how you experience what you've built and your experience of your life and how you live inside of the life that you created. I mean, it's at the core of it, right? That's why I talk about what to do when success feels like survival. Like you have achieved every external milestone and marker of success. You have the building, you have the family, you have the marriage, you have the kids, you have the money, you have the car, you have the house, you have the vacation home, you have the real estate portfolio, you have investments, you have index funds, whatever you have. Can you live inside of all of that? Do you get to experience all of that? The discomfort of summer is that you're standing in a space between who you are, who you've been, and who you're becoming. And the old identity can sound like, I'm the one who holds everything together. My worth is tied to how responsible I am. One of the things I write in chapter 1 of my book is you don't feel alive, you feel responsible. Sit with that. Do you feel alive or do you feel responsible? Most leaders that I work with don't feel alive. They feel responsible. They feel consistently responsible to be providers, protectors, and responsible for everything that goes on in their life. There's another identity that you're trying to emerge from, is a leader that's grounded enough to know that chaos and unpredictable forces are a natural part of leadership and they don't have to break you. You don't need order and things to be perfect in order to find purpose and meaning and safety. What I talk about in my book is that anchors and rhythms do not remove the chaos. They steady you when the unpredictable arrives, because unpredictable is coming. Welcome to living, right? The quiet, disorienting nature of summer is the exact environment needed for recalibration to occur. And so leading from this place of wholeness and integration and all of you is highly practical, because you stop relying on willpower or mood or another motivational speech or another conference, and you start shifting your energy from this obligation and urgency to rhythm, values, restoration, and it becomes visible on these ordinary Tuesday mornings, right? Where how you enter a difficult conversation, how you respond when something breaks, how you respond when something doesn't go your way, how quickly you recover when plans change. And the school is only as steady and grounded as the leader leading it. This is the most foundational work, and this is what infrastructure is. That's why I wrote my book, This Can't Be Normal. So if you made it to summer, and if you made it to this part of the episode, I want to invite you to ask a different question. Instead of asking, when will I feel better? When do I get relief? When can I breathe? Who am I becoming now that survival is no longer my whole story? That question changed my life. When I didn't feel like I needed to protect my energy or protect myself. What if I can create energy? What if I don't have to live in a state of survival? What if I don't have to anticipate everything? What if I don't have to think of every single possible thing that's going to go wrong? What if I don't have to manage all the invisible and emotional labor of everything that goes on in my business and my home? What if there were predictable returns? What if there were things that anchored me through the chaos of leadership and life? That was the thesis of my book. It's a central question that I explore in This Can't Be Normal, which is available wherever books are sold. And this book is for leaders who build something meaningful in their life, yet still feel like they're carrying more than they were ever meant to hold. So if today's conversation describes some of your experience, I want to invite you to purchase the book. It's available wherever books are sold. You can go to thiscan'tbenormal.com. You could go to Amazon, Walmart, Barnes & Noble. Links are all in the show notes. This Can't Be Normal. What to do when success starts to feel like survival. Thanks so much for joining me.